Behind me is the Connect One. It's a 460 square foot, 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom module from Connect Homes. I've been following Connect for a couple years now. This is my first time actually seeing them in person. And the first thing that jumped out at me was the amount of windows on the side of this home. They're floor to ceiling. You've got windows into the bedroom, you've got windows in the kitchen, and of course you've got windows into the living room. I'm gonna try and sit down with one of the co-founders today to get a better sense of what they've got going on with this company. Let's check it out. Connect Homes was founded back in 2012 to bring high quality prefabricated modular homes to the many, not the few. Here we are 12 years later and they're dropping major announcements like hotcakes, so I am very pleased to be able to see one of their modulars in person. This is the Connect One, a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom home with 8.5-foot ceilings and floor-to-ceiling windows. The C1 has a sliding glass door into the living room and a door on the end. If it were me living in the home, I'd likely be using the entrance on the end on a daily basis, and so that's what I did for the purpose of this video. Inside this home, the living room is located on the end with a full wall of windows, and they had it staged with a couch, chair, and coffee table. But again, the most noticeable feature is the windows that run the length of one side of this home. Heading toward the back of the home, the living room runs into the kitchen. Wish I would have seen the box of donuts while I was there, but okay. This kitchen is about the size of the one that I'm currently running, only nicer, so I can definitely picture myself up in there making a plate of my regionally famous nachos. The bedroom is at the opposite end of the home from the entrance, and even though it wasn't in the model at the show, the floor plan does show a washer dryer tucked into the corner space. People are usually up in arms if a washer dryer isn't available in a small space, and rightly so I needed to make sure that people know it's available. It's an important item. As we're heading back towards the living space, another look at the kitchen and check out that backsplash. Can confirm I am a very big fan of the look. With a quick loop around the living room to get a peek at the entire space, including all the windows, it's into the bathroom where they've got a full tile shower and it looks as though it had been spit polished for the show. Thing's absolutely glowing. All in all, solid layout with great flow. For all the viewers who prefer their tours on paper, here's a look at the floor plan. I like how they've created space between the living room and bedroom while avoiding a hallway. It's clever. The Connect One is 11.5 feet wide by 40 feet long for a total footprint of 460 square feet. It's one thing to see a home in pictures or look at a floor plan, but having the opportunity to see it in person and get an idea of what it actually feels like is a completely different story. Hopefully I can portray that in this video. It's the whole point. For me, the one feature that I didn't give enough attention to before seeing the C1 in person was the floor-to-ceiling windows. And I like to think I'm a windows guy because I talk about the difference they can make in a small space all the time. The windows in this home are a game changer for how it feels inside, and the reason they're able to have so many all comes back to how these homes are built. But more on that shortly from one of the co-founders. On top of the feel provided by the windows, they give the exterior a modern look that I really like and think it fits well on the West Coast. And funny thing is, people ask all the time who has this look from all over the country, even though most of the people building it are located in the Western states. Seems like it could be an underserved market in the rest of the country and probably part of the reason Connect is making the moves that they're making. If Connect Homes hasn't been on your radar, they're a California-based company with over 30 models available who recently opened a new factory in Mesa, Arizona. They've got two different home lines right now, the customizable design series such as the Connect One and the standardized Pro series, which I'm told is about to go into production. By the time this video posts, the first build in their Pro series should already be under construction in their new factory, which is pretty exciting. One of my favorite things about going to the Builder Show in Vegas is getting to talk to the people at the companies because I think it's a great way to find out what the company's actually all about. I had a chance to sit down with one of the co-founders of Connect Homes, Gordon. Here's what he had to say. I caught up with Gordon from Connect Homes. He's one of the co-founders. They've got a lot of exciting stuff going on with a new factory and a new product line, but I'm really curious to hear how things started with this company.
Oh wow, well thanks so much for coming to see what we're doing. Yeah, no, I can take you back. It was probably about 11 years ago now. We sort of saw a problem in the industry. My co-founder and I were working at another modular prefab company doing very, very nice high-end product, and noticed that the logistics of modular were based around shipping very overdimensional modules that were similar in size to the single wide and double wides from the manufactured world. And so we tried to figure out the logistics of how we could make the shipping of very overdimensional things, homes, much more efficient. And we did so by sizing down the modules significantly. And yeah, our first houses actually even had the integrated corner fittings of shipping containers. They were always purpose-built steel frame modules, but essentially they were able to be handled very much like a shipping container.
Okay.
And so with that, we've been able to serve much further afield than traditional modular companies. So I think our 6th or 7th house went to Connecticut.
Wow.
And it was a 2-story house, it was 4 modules, and it shipped for a fraction of the price of what the larger modules would ship for. And so kind of evolving from there, we've always as a company been very involved in how do you make modular prefab really make sense for the client. And such a big part of that is figuring out the logistics,
right,
which can be so complicated. And so with our latest Pro series, we're incredibly excited because while we already finish our homes to at least 90% in the factory, leaving 10% in the field, Pro actually finishes another 5% in the factory, which doesn't sound like it's a big difference, but what it ends up meaning is there's no exterior seaming on the Pro line. And on the interior of the modules, there's no drywall seaming at the mod line as well. And so just by sort of taking everything that we learned in the last 10 years and trying to create a system that can keep more of the work in the factory, we feel like we've really kind of created a nice new move forward in the industry.
Interesting. Okay, I've got so many questions.
Yes. And if I'm talking too long.
No, it's all good. So you've got the new Pro series, and behind us we've got the Connect one from the Design series. Is that right?
That's correct, yes.
So what are the main differences between the two series, and are they built for different clients, or if you could touch on that?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. You know, I think that, you know, at Connect Homes, having kind of like our architectural pedigree and design pedigree, you know, I think one of our houses last year was a finalist for, you know, nicest prefab structure on Architizer or something like this. So it's great to have those accolades and to be sort of really sort of emerging from a design-centric idea of how do you bring and make more affordable modern living for more people. You know, all of that DNA is in Pro and the Design series. So I think it's highly likely that you know, we're going to be able to keep all of the sort of you know, lovely design aesthetics and feels that we get in a house like this with Pro. They'll be very, very similar. Our first Pro home, by the way, is hitting the assembly line in Mesa next week.
Nice.
So we're really excited to sort of like have that emerge. But ultimately, same floor-to-ceiling glass, you know, same steel frame. It's just in this case, the steel frame arrives in pieces and gets assembled in the factory, again, making the logistics easier. You know, the connections are optimized so that on site, there's a lot less work that needs to be done. All of that dramatically affects costs.
Yeah.
And again, what's exciting for me in Pro is that, you know, I think the renderings show this, and these new first projects will show it. You know, they're just aesthetically very, very nice, just like our Design series are.
Cool.
So yeah, a lot of changes in terms of like it's a more standardized system,
right?
And a lot of the logistics are slightly different, but the aesthetics should be essentially the same.
Okay, so the standardization of the Pro product brings down the price, is that?
Yes.
And it makes it more accessible for more people?
That's right.
That's the idea. Okay,
That's
gotcha.
right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So the Connect one behind us, I haven't been inside yet just because it's so busy.
You haven't?
I know, I haven't been
Okay.
inside. I'm waiting for a time when people kind of die down. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We might just have to go through with the tour with a bunch of people in it. But if you could kind of tell me about the design and who this home is designed for, and even what purpose.
Yeah. So the 460 square foot Connect One that you see behind you is a single module house. I think it was built in 2022, so it was built a couple years ago. We built it actually for the HUD show to take it cross country and put it on the National Mall, which we didn't do that year, but we did the following year. We did that last year.
Cool.
And it was great to have it there along with a lot of other people who we even see here behind us, just sort of demonstrating that this steel frame ADU or tiny home or small home or whatever it is you want to call it, ends up being just a terrific way to provide high design, small scale living, whether it's in a backyard, whether it's a primary residence, because again, people are sort of moving to live in smaller homes, or if it's a supplemental accessory structure for a main house. We've, I think, done about 15 Connect Ones for a variety of clients in a variety of locations. So there have been some used for fire recovery. We also even have people looking at variants of this to serve those experiencing homelessness. Yeah. So clients who see our shelter line, which is specifically built for critical housing need, and want something that's even a little bit more badass, like they look towards models like this.
Gotcha.
So again, it's just really exciting how the steel frame that this is based on means that none of the perimeter walls are load bearing. And because of that, you can essentially put floor-to-ceiling glass anywhere around the perimeter.
Sweet.
Without having to re-engineer it.
Yeah.
And so that means that you can take a standard plan, ADU in this case, and if you're putting in your backyard, you can move the glass to another wall if it faces, your yard, or if it faces a view. You can kind of that's the main customization that we allow people to do, is that we not only let them choose their materials and finishes, but we also let them move glass around.
That's awesome.
So yeah, and that ultimately changing the relationship from the inside of the house to the outside of the house, and I think you'll feel this when you're inside of it, it just, spatially, the floor-to-ceiling glass makes it so that you're joined to whatever space it is that you're facing. And that means that sort of spatially it feels like you're in just a much, much larger place.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the secrets to tiny home living in general is how do you try to sort of make the spaces feel dramatically larger than they are.
Clearly a lot going on over at Connect Homes, and I'm going to see if I can get a behind the scenes look at the new factory, especially since the new Pro Series will be under construction. Before I wrap this thing up, I am going to get into their pricing, but keep in mind prices can and usually do change, but will be accurate at the time of posting this video. The Connect One starts at $255,800. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take it easy.